So we need to even the other column data, like let's say 3 more column data or all the column data to be transferred to the target. So how do you do that? So we need to open a Datastage job and then start getting the map explicitly, or second way is what we can enable the runtime column propagation through which we can transfer the data. Yeah? So which is what will be done by using what I call enable runtime column propagation for parallel jobs. Yeah? So that's it. Yeah? Now, this runtime column propagation concept, we have it at project level, job level, stage level. I'll show some examples like when to go for what. Yeah? But we are in the scope of administrator, right? So administrator means once you enable that, this runtime column propagation will be enabled for all the jobs within this particular project. So that's what happens with this, which means if you select a project, then log on to that project. If you enable, like whatever the project that is highlighted, right, for that particular project, this runtime column propagation will be enabled. Huh? So that's what happens. Huh? And then the next important thing is what we have auto purge of job log. Meaning what? Let us say you are running Datastage jobs every day. Yeah? And now what do we need to do here is we need to clear the logs, because as we keep on running this Datastage jobs, log files will be what we call piled up, which results in what we call having too many login messages in a log file. If you don't clear it off, then you'll have some performance problems, right? So how are we going to get rid of from that problem? That is where we can clear the logs, yeah, based on the job runs and based on what we call the number of days old. Yeah? So which is what we do as part of this auto purge options. Yeah? So auto purging will happen based on what we call job runs based on days old. Yeah? So let us say if you want to maintain the history of logging messages for 2 job runs, then we can specify here up to 2 job runs, which means what? You will have what we call current logging messages and previous what we call logging messages or whatever. Yeah. In case if we have some problem in the latest what we call job run, we can always compare like what it was with the previous job run, what we call status. Yeah, or not only just status, we can also see the steps that it has undergone while running this previous job and current job. We can always have comparison. It's better not to maintain too many job runs. Yeah? So because if you do that, one, you'll get into performance issues. Second, the log messages will be bloated. Yeah? But if the system is very high end and if you want to maintain many job run logs, then we could always do that by using this. Yeah? The second is what we have based on days old, which means what number of days old. Let us say 2 days or 3 days or whatever, right? Such things will be taken care based on what we call days old. Yeah? If you want 3 days job run, what we call 3 days login messages to be archived. We could do that based on over what I call this many days. Yeah? So that's the one thing. Sunita, is it it has come up? Huh? Can you try to log on to this one of the client? See whether you could able to log in. Sunita, are there? Yeah, try to log on to one of the client. Okay. Yeah, yes, Joe. So now, yeah, let's try to what it called run any one client here. Let's say administrator client. Yeah. Let us try to log in here. Yeah, here the password is DS admin. So if the services are up and running, yeah, now you could able to see, right? There is a projects, so which means we supplied the right details, like what by default you'll get all other details. Only thing you just need to supply password,
Yes,
which
can you
is
tell me the password? What was the password?
same as username. Sunita. Fine. DS admin. I'm just typing here. Huh?
Okay, okay.
So this is a password. Yeah? Once we do that, then we can use this add button to create a new project, and then we can get into properties where I was trying to talk about the second checkbox where enable runtime column propagation for parallel jobs. Yeah? Similarly, we can log on to designer client by supplying what same password. Yeah. Now you can see here there are different types of jobs over here which we have discussed theoretically. Here you can see the parallel job, sequence job, server job. So we are going to focus on parallel jobs and sequence jobs. Yeah. So first so parallel job or type of job will be used in order to build individual data set jobs, and sequence job will be used in order to connect n number of jobs and create what we call final job sequence. Yeah? And then expand it and create, yeah, this is how what we call data state designer would look like, where we could see what there is a tool bar which contains several buttons over here. Mainly we would be using one is a job properties, two set the job properties, I'll talk about them, what are those, and second compile button which means to validate a job, and third run button which will be used to execute data stage job. Other buttons But there are self-explanatory, zoom in, zoom out, save on, open, new, all that, right? There are, okay. Plus, there are two more important buttons. One, resource estimation. This button will be used to gather static results with respect to disk, memory, and CPU. And then we have performance analysis, which means after running a job, like what are the actual resources that have been consumed by each job, and that's what you will see here. Which means what these two buttons are going to help us for the performance reasons. I'll talk about that with examples like how to gather the static results by using this and dynamic results by using performance analysis button. Yeah. Now, the next is what we can start getting into what building, yeah, data stage jobs. To do that, we have palette, which contains, or we call that as a tools palette, which contains several stages on what we call each based on each of these categories. Yeah? So that's what we can see here, and then other what we call section, which we call workspace, yeah, where we can start building data stage job. Workspace or parallel canvas, both are same. This will be used to build data stage job from scratch. Yeah. So these are three what we call sections within this designer client. Yeah. So once we do that, we can start building a data stage job. One by one, anyway, we'll get into that. Yeah. Develop and debug category, what we call stages, will be used in order to design and develop data stage jobs. I repeat, development or debug category stages will be used in order to design data stage jobs. Now, let us say in this each stage, I think I said what is meant by the stage, right? Yeah. So where we can see like all the development debug stages, as I said, to design develop data stage jobs. And in this row generator stage will be used in order to generate the mock data. I repeat, row generator stage will be used in order to generate the mock data or random data or sample data. So we'll see, Joe, like what to be done with this. 2007 is not supported. Yeah. We need to use that.
So virtual PC is not supported on Windows.
Right, you're right. We need to use this, what?
Can you send me the actual, I guess, files that are on the 2000, because I have it already installed on 2008.
So it works, right? I think you have 8.7 installed, right, Jim?
I have 8.7, but I don't have the tutorial files for it.
Okay.
So if you can send me the tutorial files, then I can follow on the 8.7.
Okay. Okay, Jim. Let me just think and I'll just drop an email on that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Now, so this is how we need to do. Drag and drop each stage from tools palette to the workspace. That's a stage 1 and stage 2. And connect what are the two stages through what? A link, which we call virtual data set or simple a link. So which means we can make the data to be flown from one stage to other stage. Yeah? And that will happen through what? A link. That's it. Yeah? So that's what we do while building a job. Yeah? This is a simple job. So this will be used to generate mock data. This will be used to display the data in what you call the directory client. Just like a print logging messages and print event data also. For that we use teach stage. As I said earlier, all the stages that are under develop and debug category will be used in order to design and develop data stage jobs. Yeah. Now save this particular job. Yeah. Okay. So here we can create our own folder. Yeah. So it's better to create our own folder to organize our structure. Let us say October. Yeah. Then supply job name and get it set. Yeah, it is a bit slow. Yeah. Let us supply job name. Supply meaningful job names. Here I have supplied what? Rogen underscore peak, because we have two stages in this. So where Rogen and peak stages we have, and then interconnected. Now we have saved it. Next thing is what? We need to start getting it compiled. Before we compile, we need to configure what I call properties for each stage. Okay? So once we do that, then here we have by default number of records as what? 10. Yeah? This means 10 rows will be generated by default. This is a scope register. Now you can define what I call columns. Like you have, let us say column 1, which is this. Yeah. And then you can define even column 2 with a type like varchar or whatever. So which means these are the different types that would be supported by Datastage. So depending upon the type of data that you are going to deal with, we need to choose appropriate type. And then can you see here there is a runtime column propagation. Just leave it there. I'll explain that. Like what do we get from this? I think I talked about when we talked about administrator, how to enable that. I said we can enable this at job level, stage level, and also project level, right? This is the stage level enabling this runtime column propagation. Yeah? That's it. Now say OK. So which means what? We just need to define the columns. So based on those columns, row generator stage will be used to generate the mock data. Yeah. So one is integer, second is what? Var character, which means integer means by default it is going to generate what we call mock data like 0 to 9. So this is a random data, Yakut. As such, we are not what we call getting the data from source. Yeah? Import data, that part would come into picture for the other types of sources. Yakut. Here, we don't need to supply any file or table information to import the data or to import metadata. Yeah? Here, so random generate, this is a generator stage. It itself is going to generate data. Yeah? So for example, in mathematics, you guys are aware there is a rand function. If you just call that, it would generate what we call mock data, right? This is equivalent of that. So number of records, which is a 10 or 100 or whatever, you can just define that. So that many number of rows it is going to generate automatically. We don't need to supply any input or input in the data. Yeah? Now click on view data button here just to see what kind of data that it has been generated. Yeah? Yeah, can you see here? Here we have what I call all the rows, which includes what? There are 100 rows where what I call we could able to see mock data. It itself is going to 0 to 99 indicates we have just specified column 1 with a type of what? Integer. So 0 to 99 rows it has been generated. Plus second column we selected variable characters, varchar, right? So which means for each row you will have variable characters. So this will be used in order to troubleshoot data stage jobs. For example, in real production box, assuming that there is a large volume of data that would be generated that would be used in production box. Now due to some reason we got some issues in production box, but customers would say that this particular data of what we use in production should not be disclosed outside this production box. Yeah? So that will be taken care by using row generator, through which we can generate what we call mock data, which will be similar to what we call the production data. Yeah? So that's what will be done over here. Yeah? So once we do that, yeah, then the next step is what? We need to transfer the data from row gen to the next stage, which is what? Peak. Peak stage, yes. It's a dummy, it's a mapping where it's not a mapping, it is a job where we are just creating mock data by ourselves. This is what I call reading the data from a file or whatever. Yakut, you are right. Just to simulate the production environment. Yeah? So once we do that, then if you want to display the data of what is being produced by this particular stage, then we can use peak stage where we can configure the properties for each. Yeah? By default, peak stage will be used to display top 10 rows. Can you see here? So this will be used to generate what we call top 10 rows. But if you want to what we call display all the rows, then we need to make all records after skip equal to 2. Let us go with the default options. Sorry. And start getting it saved, compile and run. Yeah? Yeah. Now let it get compiled.
So, Simha, whilst it's compiling, I got a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Jack.
So, the row generator is used when you don't have the actual data, right? And you have, but you do need the metadata for you to be able to generate something similar, right?
Yes, for that we have defined two columns within this row generator, namely
Yeah.
C1 and C2 with corresponding tag. Yes.
Yeah, and I understand, but I'm saying in the production sense, why would you need to use row generator if you have the actual data?
No, yes, you have the actual data, but what customer would say is we should not disclose this particular data to what is called outside this production environment, because there is some problem in this particular job, some job, yeah, where we need to troubleshoot that particular job, yeah, to identify the causes of failure. To do that, how do we generate what we call this data that we have in production, similar to that. So for
I
that,
see.
row generator stage is going to help us to generate more data. Joe?
Okay, but how would you know? So you do need the metadata for
Metadata,
you
yeah,
to know.
metadata part, yes, that we can get it, that is not a problem, but data they will not disclose it. Okay?
I
Metadata
see.
is a very small piece, so that anyway we can define by just understanding what kind of metadata we have, yeah, and that's very small piece, right? So that we can define here, or we can get it and get it imported by using load. Yeah, that I'll talk about it. So first
Okay.
example which I'm trying to say here is how to define the columns and start generating mock data for each column. Yeah?
Okay.
Clear, right?
Okay.
In simple
Yeah.
terms, in case if we have any issues in production box, in order to fix those issues in a development environment, first we need to create a data which is similar to production environment, so that if we reproduce the bug, then we can start getting it troubleshooted, right? Yes, sir. To do that, we need to first generate the data which is similar to what we have in the production environment. For that, this particular row generator is going to help us on doing that. Yeah?
Yeah. So how would you get the metadata from the other system to this one?
So that metadata, you can get it through repository. You'll have what you call a repository that in production, like in DB2 or UV or whatever, right? So you can just
Right.
export it to some what I call XML file and get it imported. I'll show that. This is how we do
Okay.
it. Once you import it, you'll get complete metadata under the repository, then use load button, then get it imported. Yeah?
Okay.
Fine.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. So now we said what, okay. Then compile this. Yeah? So as part of compilation, what it does, it is going to verify all the properties and also link between one stage to other stage. If everything is fine, this job would be compiled with no errors. If there are any issues, they will see the errors over here. Yeah? Just take it. Yeah. Yakut, did you get a chance to configure your system? Is that image works fine in your system? Yakut?
Well, I've downloaded the files already, but I was just about to make a new virtual box for installation purposes, but I think that I would need some help. So
Okay. So what's the system capacity? Is it a 4 GB box or 8 GB box?
it's 8 GB.
Okay. Yep. Is it Windows 7?
No, it's Windows 8.
Oh. So Windows 80, I think virtual PC doesn't work. I think Joe, you were asking one question, right, on this, which is Windows virtual PC 2007. Okay. So Windows 2012, it doesn't support. We need to use Hyper-V, or what we could do is, let us try to, what we could download the VM player, yeah, and let us try to load the image using VM player, or we will use VMware Workstation and try to load the image using VMware Workstation. Yeah?
No, but could you please check my screen for a moment?
Sure. Yeah. Now it has been compiled. Say okay. Yeah. Let me make you as a presenter.
Sure.
Yeah.
Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay. What? Okay. Just give me a minute.
Oh, you already have
Pfizer-
Workstation, right?
Yes.
One second.
Yes.
Very good.
I already have it.
Very good. Then, yeah. So we need to extract this thing, Yakut. So we have, 38 files are downloaded, Yakut, or anything is left over?
I'm sorry, your voice is breaking up.
Okay. How many files have been downloaded? All of them?
All of them. All of them
Yeah.
are downloaded.
Now let us select all except setup.exe file. Can you please go down, Yakut? There will be.
Sure.
Let me try that. Where is that?
This one over here?
Yeah, we need to just deselect that. Oh, Control A. Yeah, oh God. Yeah, I think now it's fine. Thanks, Ankit. Now, let us try to extract all of them to one single file, which is what? Image, which contains what we call the complete Datastage image. Yeah? So it would take time.
Okay.
It would take a lot of time. Yeah? So let's wait for that. After that, you already have anyway VMware Workstation 8 or whatever, right? Yakut? So what we need to do is,
That's right.
yeah, what we need to do here is, we need to open this particular 35 GB file through that particular workstation. Yep.
Okay.
Let's see whether we can make it to work. This is a Windows 8 box, right? That's what you were saying?
VMware is XP.
No, this
But,
one, the one which you have, host mission.
Yeah, Yeah, that the main machine is Windows 8.
Yeah, Windows 8, right? Yeah.
I think that it's going to work in XP.
XP, it works without any issues. With virtual PC, right? Virtual PC, it works
Yes.
under XP and Windows 7. Like just now we have used Windows 7, right? And Sunita system, where virtual
Okay.
PC works fine. From
Okay.
Windows 8 onwards, it doesn't support. For that, we need to use Hyper-V or even workstation also would work. Let us see that. You have a VMware workstation 8, right? You can try
Yes.
that by loading that. If it doesn't work, then we will see other options.
Okay. So just to confirm, I'll go here, like create a new virtual machine.
Yeah, here you can say yes. Just create a new virtual machine.
Product key. I don't remember what the product key was given to for XP at that time, but
So this is required. So let us try to say open image or even open the virtual machine. Second option in virtual machine.
okay.
Key is required. Are you not using that Informatica app?
Yes, it's right over here.
Okay. This is a XP, right? This is within
Yes,
virtual.
this is XP.
Yeah?
Yes, this is within virtual.
Right. So you logged in, right? Through virtual VMware workstation, right?
Yes.
Okay. So that time, did you not supply this key?
I did, but
Or
I
maybe
couldn't
email us
note it
outlet.
down.
That anyway you'll get it, I think, right?
Yeah, because it was done by one of your admin guys, so I could not note it down. He was
Okay,
doing
fine.
it very quickly.
Probably I think Venkat is the right person to answer that because I don't have that key. Yeah.
Okay, I'll definitely drop an email to Venkat.
Yeah, you let him send that. Yeah?
Sure, sure.
Okay. So that's all I put. So sorry, you can just open that image through this. Yeah?
Okay.
Let's see that. So
Okay.
Joe, same thing. So even for others also, whoever has got Windows 8, right? Let us try to make this ecosystem to work. After that, whoever has got Windows 8 box, right? Windows 8 or Windows 2012 will follow the same approach. Yeah? Fine. This is answer to your question. Joe, movie, and others. Yeah?
Okay.
Fine. Yeah, this is a simple job which we have built. Just
All right.
and let me make Sunita system as presenter. Sunita, can you please share your desktop?
Yeah.
Now what we did, we know like how to build a simple job and then we have just saved it. Once you save it, it will be under a repository. Then save. Okay. Now the next step is going to be what? We need to run this. We started with what? Setting the global properties using administrator and creating a job, build metadata, and then save it, compile, and then next step is what? We are trying to execute this particular job. Yeah? Now it will ask for run, validate, cancel, and help. Then click on run button so that this particular job would get executed. As part of execution, what happens? Data from role generator would get transferred to what? Peak stage. Can you see here? Now, the line with the arrow indicates what? Link, right? Now, there is a color change that has happened from black color to what? Green color, which means what? Job has been successfully, completed without any issues, right? So in this, if you look at the statistics, row gen, which has generated how many rows? 100 rows. Can you see here? And second property is what? Number of rows per second that it has processed. And the link name, through that particular link, these rows have been transferred to this particular target stage, which is what? Peak. But in peak, what do we have? We can only display top 10 rows by default. But if we want to display all the rows, then we need to configure the property, which we'll do that in the next example. Now, we know how to follow the step by step and get the job executed. Next step is what? We need to, what we call, look at the log and the data corresponding to this particular job. For that, we need to open Datastage director. That's what we are doing here. Yeah, let it get open so that we could able to see login messages. And then click on view log message, view log, where you can see. Can you see here? These are the what you call sequence, step by step log messages. Plus, you will also have the status. At the end, you will see what you call finished status OK, which means what? Job has been executed successfully with status OK, yeah? which is what we could see here. Plus, we can also see the startup time and production time, which means these are the two measuring attributes within this what data stage. Startup time is what? It is the time of what? To create or to spawn a process for each stage and establish the connectivity between a number of stages. And production time will be used for what? It is the actual execution time for this particular job. Yeah? So that's what, these are the two measuring attributes. That's it. Now, we can also see here peak underscore 1. That is a stage name, right? By default, comma 0 indicates 0th partition, or we have only one single node. If we have it, comma 0, we will have it, which indicates partition 0. For now, just remember that there is a node which is available on that particular node. This particular job has been invoked. Yeah? Now click on this, what you call peak, where you can see what you call the data which is produced by what? Row generator. So which means now the data from row generator has been transferred to what? Peak stage, where you could able to display the data depending upon the number of rows that you want to display. By default, this peak will display top 10 rows. That's what you will see here, right? So that's it. This is a simple job where we have just what you call transferred data from row gen to peak stage. Yeah? Fine. Any questions over here? Any questions here?
Not from my side, but I believe that I'm going to understand it more
Yeah, as we
after
go.
I'll get
Yeah,
it
right.
installed.
Yeah. Sure. Anyway, this is a simple job, right? Yeah. As we go on,
Okay.
probably we'll get more questions. Yeah. So, yeah. Raj, give me just some time. We'll get started once. Yeah. It's okay.
Okay.
Fine. Now, let's move on to the what you call next step, which is going to be based on what? Let us say, how are we going to display all the rows that have been produced by row generator. Yeah. For that, we need to configure. No, Joe, I don't have it. Yeah, anyway, you'll get it from Venkat. Yeah. I think Yakut is going to send an email. Yeah. Once he gets it, then we'll use the same key. Joe. Yakut, probably can just drop an email to Venkat. Yeah. So now we can see here, we can specify the number of rows, or we can also use this particular option, all records after skip equal to 2. Yeah. As a result of that, we could able to transfer all the rows, or we could able to display all the rows using peak stage. Yeah. Now say compile and run. Yeah. Yeah. So let it get executed. Yeah. Now we could able to see all 100 rows which have been transferred to what a target, which is what peak. So that is what happens with this particular example. So now let us look at the data, like how many rows that this guy is produced. Only 10. This is the previous job, right? So in order to open the next job, what we need, can you see here? There's a view status button, or we can also go to view menu and say status, yeah, which will take you to what we call all the jobs list. Can you see here? Here we have different jobs. Yeah? You can select a job which we just what we call created. Yeah? Second one, right? And then say highlight a job or select a job and click on view log. Yeah. Now you have just opened that and click on this peak line where you can see what all the rows, which is what 100 rows, between 0 to 99 and corresponding variable characters. Yeah. This is what you could see as part of this output. Clear? The next question is, you guys can think of like a how to what you call display only top 50 records. Yeah? So that probably you guys can take that as exercise and see how to display top 50 rows, which is 50 rows. Yeah? I've shown two examples, one with a default option where we can see top 10 rows, and second we have also used what display all the rows, which is 100 rows. Yeah? Yeah. Oh, yes, Joe. So now let's go on to what you call, let us say you want to generate the data based on the way you want it, which means let us say you want some duplicate data need to be generated. How do you do that? For that, we need to use what we call corresponding algorithm, like we have what we call cycle algorithm, random algorithm, alphabet algorithm. Yeah? Cycle, random, and alphabet. Yeah? So which means how are we going to generate mock data based on cycle algorithm? Yeah? So now by default it is going to generate sequential, right? Like a 0 to 9, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. Yeah? Now you want the data based on the production environment. Yeah? One example is what? Data need to get started with value, let us say 10 or 11 instead of 0. How to take care of that? And then we also need to generate what is called similar data. Similar in the sense duplicate data. How do you do that? That will be done by using cycle algorithm, where we can start specifying initial value and then increment value and then limit. These are the three properties that need to be configured within this cycle algorithm. So initial value, let us say if we specify what we call initial value 10, yeah, and then increment is, let us say 2, yeah, or initial value, let us say 1, increment is 2, and the limit is what, let us say 10. Then what happens here? So by default we are generating 100 rows or whatever, right? Let's say 10 rows. In this case, for 10 rows, first row is 1, second row is 1, 1 plus 2, it will be 3, third row 2 plus 2, sorry 3 plus 2, 5, and 7, 9. Now let us say maximum or number of records is what? 10 rows. Then what will happen? Once it reaches 9, 9 plus 2 is what? 11. So it is going to cross the limit, right, which is a maximum. So then what will happen? It starts from the beginning, which means what cycle algorithm, what it does is, once it reaches maximum limit, it is going to what we call repeat again the same data, which is what? It repeats itself like 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. So likewise, depending upon the number of rows of what we have, right, it is going to generate that many number of rows with repeated values, which is what happens with cycle algorithm. Clear, right? We have what? 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. 9 plus 2 is what? 11, which is going to cross the limit. Limit is what? 10, right? So again it's going to start from the beginning. So it repeats itself. So likewise, it could generate n number of rows where you have some duplicate data, because 1 and 1 2 times, 3 and 3 2 times, 5 and 5 2 times, and so on. Depending upon the number of rows, particularly you will have that many number of duplicate rows. If you have more than 10, again it will start from the beginning. Let's say 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. So like this it will go on. You know, in case if you want to generate such kind of data, we could use this cycle algorithm. Especially if you have duplicate data. Let's say there is a merger that has happened from one source with other source, or one band with other band. Then how do you take care of it? Then you will have some duplicate data. To simulate that, we use this cycle algorithm. Yeah, that's one of the real time example where there is a need to build what I call duplicate data. Yeah? Fine. Now let us start understanding how to configure that. Click on columns, select any column, right click and say edit row, which will take you to the extended properties of this particular stage, where we can see generator and click on the type. So where we have cycle algorithm, can you see here? We also have random all that. Now supply this initial values like what I was trying to talk. initial is let's say 1 and increment is let's say 2 and limit is let's say what 10. Like whatever was discussed in the notepad, same thing I was trying to configure here and say apply and close. That's it. This is what need to be done. And with respect to number of rows, we can now what you call let's say cut down to 10 so that it would take less time to execute. So 13579, that's what I should get as a result of this particular configuration. And then say OK. Which means what? We can generate the data based on the way we wanted here, right? Then compile and run. These steps are the same. Close it and run. Yeah. Yeah, Sai Gopi will start in another 10 minutes. And now we can go to the view status. We can go to view and status, or we can also click on this button, which is view status button, and select a job which we have just executed. Which one is this? This one, right? Or else we can also organize all these jobs based on date, start date and time, start date. You can just sort it so that what you call most recent jobs would appear in the top. Yeah? Now select this particular job and click on what? View log. Yeah? Where we could able to see the data of what we expect. Can you see that? 13579, 13579. Clear? Which means what? With this particular option, we can select or we can generate the data based on the way we want it, which is what we can see over here. Clear? Any questions here? So this is what would be done over here. Okay?
Okay, so it is repeated only for 2 times, like 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and again, like total number of repetition is 2. So can we change that as per the requirement, or?
Yes. For example, let us say you want to generate 12. Then what will happen? 13579, 13579. Again it starts 1, 3. Yeah? Total count will be 12 rows. Yeah. Let us change that. So let's say we have 10, right? So total number of records that we want to generate is what? 10. If we increase it, then it will generate that many number of rows. Let's say 13. So 13579, 13579. So 9 plus 2 is 11, right? 11 is what we call, it is going to cross the limit as per our cycle algorithm. Yes or no? Okay. Now say OK. So 135 you will have last. Save, compile and run. Now we executed. Can you see here the statistics here? 13 rows, right? That have been produced. What are those 13 rows? That you can see in director. Can you see here, Jacob? So 13579, 13579.
Yes.
So we have added what is called 13, right? So we have 135. Depending upon the number of rows that you configure, right? You'll get that many.
I guess.
Yeah. Got it, right?
Yep. Thank you so much. It's clear now.
Fine. So that's what happens. What you call with respect to data generation. Yeah. Now the next thing is what we need to start getting into what, yeah, 12 will stop here. I think we spent 1 hour 20 minutes like that. So we'll meet tomorrow at the same time, yeah, to continue from here. So we'll have weekend morning and evening sessions if you guys are okay. Or else, yeah, I think we'll have tomorrow at, I'll just drop an email sometime in the evening, like 4 p.m. IST. Is that fine to all?
Yes, that's fine with me.
How about others? I'll drop an email, 4 p.m. IST, right? Which means for you guys in the morning, Saturday morning. Yeah.
That's right. So the morning.
So, but anyway, we'll have it to the morning session, which is a 4:30 session. We'll have it anyway. Plus, so normal 4:30 a.m. IST. Plus, we'll also have evening session. So let us talk about that tomorrow at what time. For now, tentatively 4 p.m. Yeah? Please be ready
Okay.
for it. It means for Saturday morning for you guys. Yeah?
So tomorrow it's going to be on the same time, but you want us to log on Saturday morning as well, right?
Yes. So
Okay.
normal daily we'll have this time 4:30 to 6 or 5:30 whatever. Yeah. Plus
Okay.
on weekend we'll have longer hour session. It's morning and also in the evening. Yeah.
Sure.
Sure. I'll drop an email on that, Sunita. Anyway, tomorrow you'll be joining the same time. And we'll talk about that timing again. Yeah. Plus I'll also drop an email. Yeah?